Welcome back to the Retention Edge podcast. I've got Andy Isom here from Weavos. Andy, give everyone a quick intro on yourself, man.
Hey Eric, thank you. No, I'm excited to be here. Quick intro. I've been doing e-commerce for probably 10 years now. I've done all sorts of different e-commerce drop shipping from AliExpress back in the day, and then a lot of Amazon private label for the past 6 or 7 years. And yeah, now I'm running my own agency, helping people sell their own, privately labeled branded products on Amazon, Walmart, TikTok Shop, and wherever else they want to try to sell it.
Awesome. And I guess to start out, right? Talk a little bit about like the work you're doing right now, what you're focusing on at the moment. Obviously, Black Friday just passed. We're recording this the day after Cyber Monday. Walk through kind of your experience over the last few days. Any interesting data you've seen or anything like that?
Yeah, I feel like the interesting thing, I've been talking to a few of my clients about this actually over the last few weeks. I feel like Black Friday, Cyber Monday has evolved over just the past, maybe even 5 years since the COVID era, which we refer to a lot, in the e-commerce space. Post COVID era, kind of like the sales season, it just continues to expand, right? It used to be, pre-COVID and even like a lot of the like pre-Amazon days, Black Friday was like a big one-day event, right? Where you're lining up. I remember as a kid, like people are lining up outside of Best Buy to get, the new PlayStation and stuff like that. You're camping in a tent. But those days are kind of behind us. And again, I feel like every year that passes, the window of the Black Friday, Cyber Monday sales period just continues to get wider and wider. Where I was seeing ads on TV from Walmart and even Amazon pushing Black Friday sales starting like November 12th, even November 10th, earlier and earlier. And then also the sales just extending after Cyber Monday. I mean, Cyber Monday was what, technically yesterday, but it doesn't really have the same feel that it's had in years past where it's like, oh, on Monday, I'm going to do all my online shopping on that day because that's the day all the big, like, that's just not how it is anymore. It's just people are more just, and the other thing too, I would say another big difference that we've seen working with my own clients, but also just kind of analyzing the industry and whole as a whole is we're not seeing those big 1 day sales, like I said, Black Friday or Cyber Monday, where it's 70% off for 1 day. We're seeing a lot of brands instead do much smaller promotions, like 20% off, 30% off, and calling it a Black Friday sale.
Mhm.
When in reality, it's like that to me is kind of just like a typical sale that most people run year round anyway. And they'll run that deal for 4 weeks. Like they'll run it from, before Thanksgiving till Christmas. And it's just Black Friday, Cyber Monday, holiday, Christmas sale, all just like one big long extended period. So that's kind of the shift that we're seeing just across the market in general. Like on Amazon, off Amazon, Walmart, in retail even. That's kind of my observation. Even just like going to the mall over the past few days, you just see that at so many stores now where it's just like a month long of sales.
That's so funny because it's honestly it seems so accurate to me. We work with a few hundred e-commerce brands, and I can see some of them doing sales all the way from October onward. Not even like mid-November, like the November 12th, I think was the day you used. I saw sales going on before Halloween. You know what I mean? And then I'm sure we're gonna see I still see the Black or the Cyber Monday sales on people's websites going on right now. It's Tuesday.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That's gonna carry on for, I would bet, until after the holiday season. Like I'd bet that's gonna be there till Boxing Day, or maybe even a little bit after. So it's Black Friday, Cyber Monday. It isn't a day anymore. It's 2 months, 2.5 months, basically, of
Seriously.
sales
Yeah.
essentially. Call it Halloween till New Year's, but you still see that a significant portion of those sales do happen to go through on Friday, between Friday and Monday, obviously. If I look at my own personal behavior, I bought nothing on Cyber Monday. I bought I don't think I bought anything on Black Friday either. But to your point, I saw the same sales for a lot of the things that I was looking for, whether it was Cyber Monday or Black Friday, or it was like, 3 weeks before. I bought some things on Abercrombie for 30% off. It was the exact same sale a month ago as it is
Mhm.
literally yesterday, right? So it's funny how that shift is happening, and I wonder what that's going to do both from a margins perspective for these businesses, but also like where do they go from here? Like if nobody cares about Cyber Monday and Black Friday anymore, and everyone keeps extending the window every single year for how long that sale goes on, like where I don't understand where the end goal is here. Is it just going to be a year long 20% off, or is it going to be, anything from summer afterwards? Like I'm curious if you see any of your clients changing their behaviors at all.
Ah, so this is real data. I actually was looking at this morning. I had a call with one of my account managers on my team, and we were going over a few of our clients. We noticed something very interesting. So I'm not going to say the client's name to keep it anonymous and everything, but Amazon had a fall Prime, they called it Big Deal event. It was basically fall Amazon Prime Day. Amazon has a big Prime Day event in July every year. They've been doing that for, I don't know, maybe 10 years now. And it's traditionally been a 2-day event where a lot of stuff that's being sold on Amazon is 40, 50% off, or even more. You'll see 60, 70% off. Huge deals. You may have seen this. This past year, they did the same thing. They've now extended that into 4 days, which is another, again, just
Mhm.
expansion of a sales period. But here's what we noticed during this fall Prime Big Deal Days event in October. I think it was October 8th and 9th. Don't quote me on that, but it was 2 days in the middle of October. Um, our client in particular, they ran a sale, pretty typical sale. I think it was 30% off. They saw a huge spike in sales, like 10x their daily sales average on those 2 days. They just ran the same deal, 30% off for Black Friday week into Cyber Monday. It's still active. So, but they ran it for about a week. Significantly lower sales compared to that October Prime deals sales period. And we were talking and we were kind of, trying to come up with what is the reason why? Like why did we see such a massive spike in October? But I mean, there was a spike, right? We had a little bit of a boost in the Black Friday sales period, but I'm saying 2x, 3x daily sales versus
Mhm.
10x. And my hypothesis is I think Amazon during the COVID era, I'm trying to remember the very first year they did the fall Prime Day event. Cause again, they've been doing that July one for a long time,
Mhm.
but it's only been in the last few ish years. I want to say it was right around COVID when they started doing the fall one as well. And what I think Amazon figured out, or, maybe their theory was if we can be the first ones to offer a
Mhm.
big promotional period during Q4 holiday season, everyone's going to spend their money. They're going to do all their holiday because, like, think about it. All these retailers are competing. Walmart, Target, Amazon. They're all competing against each other for your dollars for holiday shopping. If you spend all your money on Amazon in October and you do all your holiday shopping and get it done, you're probably not going to spend as much money or maybe even any money the rest of Q4. So that's kind of what Amazon started is they said, you know what, we're going to do a huge sale in the middle of October to kick off holiday shopping season, see if we can get everyone to do their holiday shopping here on Amazon. And then when Walmart does their Black Friday, it's like everyone's already spent their money. Like we've already bought our stuff. We bought our gifts. We've already spent our holiday cash on presents and whatnot. And that I think was a big reason why we saw all of these sales periods from the Walmarts and the Targets just really start to expand is everyone's kind of realizing I have to start my sales sooner to get people's dollars. Like whoever is going to be the first retailer or brand or business to get people to spend their money, then they're going to capture, the prize. They're going to get the dollars. Um, And if you wait too long, you're like, "Oh, I'm gonna wait till Black Friday to run my sale," and you're selling, I don't know, like supplements or something. Everyone already bought their supplements on Prime Day. So you're kind of like, "Dang, my sales are super low this Black Friday." It's because everyone did it in October. So that's something that we kinda noticed is Amazon is pushing with that fall Prime Day. They're pushing a lot of dollars spent on the holiday shopping early in October, where maybe not as many people are spending as much, at least on Amazon, because we just saw direct results comparing, a client on Amazon.
No, that's such a good point. There's a fixed amount of money that or at least
Exactly.
general public, there's exceptions, but the general public has for that spending. And so if you can get in earlier before everyone else, you were more likely to get those dollars. I think I was looking at some of the stats and the metrics from this past holiday season. I think, it changes a little bit depending on if you're looking at Salesforce data versus Adobe data and everything, but I think in general, they said that, sales were up something around like 7% compared to last year's Black Friday, Cyber Monday, but the actual amount of products that people bought were down 1%, which essentially just
Hmm.
means that the only difference between last Black Friday and this Black Friday in terms of sales was essentially just price increases. People weren't
Mhm.
buying more stuff, they're just buying the same amount of stuff with more dollars because everything's more expensive now. And so the sales are probably even less than they used to be too, right? Because, obviously they're spending so much more money. They're spending that money earlier to a large extent, and they're not getting consumers aren't buying that much more than they're already buying historically. And I think to an extent, like, there's a reason for that, which is we all have enough stuff already. Like, you can't get there's a limit to how much crap that people can buy every single year before it becomes an overwhelming amount. I was watching this, like, video of the amount of self-storage that operates in the US, and it's absolutely insane how much space in city cores and suburbs and everything like that goes to just self-storage so that we can put all of our crap that we buy every single year into another place outside of our homes, because we can't fit all the other stuff that we buy in our house.
I actually like that you said that, about people kinda becoming more aware of just having less stuff. I'm always curious about I'm always really curious about how the, like, actual consensus of the entire world population, or maybe let's just call it the US population, is on ideas like this related to social media. So, like, I guess my point I'm gonna make is I have my, social media algorithms, right, that are kind of trained to what I resonate with on, let's say, Instagram, right? So if I'm scrolling on Instagram and I like videos about minimalism and I like videos that say, like, spend more money on experience, because I have kids, I got 3 young kids, so I see videos that will say, like, spend money this holiday season on experiences with your kids, not toys. Your kids are gonna forget the toys they got, but they're not gonna forget your trip to Hawaii, right? Or a trip to Disneyland. So in my mind, with my social media feed, I start to develop a belief that, like, oh, maybe this is what the whole world is starting to believe. The whole world is now believing less stuff, more experiences, right? Or just less stuff, period, more minimalism. Like, you don't need all this stuff. Like, just focus on what actually you do need and don't be wasteful. So yeah, I like that you brought up that point, because I'm always so curious about that. Like, are we as a population becoming more aware of those beliefs that I guess that I'm starting to kind of develop in those realms? Or is it that just me and my own little Instagram bubble that I've trained to show me that type of stuff?
Well, I think if you asked me, like, 7 years ago, I think I would have agreed with you because or maybe even a little bit longer than that, when I think minimalism almost peaked, like, almost a decade ago or something like that, or, like, 7, 8 years ago, and I bet if we looked at, like, Google Trends, you'd probably see the same thing. Whereas now, like, I think individuals, yeah, they'll have their curated feed, but also, you know, when I'm on TikTok or I see, some of my friends' TikToks or my girlfriend's TikTok or whatever in their algorithm, I see all these hauls all the time, right? Get open this PR haul with me, look at my Aritzia haul, look at my Lululemon haul, look at
Mm,
my Princess Polly haul or whatever it is. And so I wonder if we almost like we started going in that direction and then COVID hit and then we flipped right back into like the super consumerism need a whole bunch of crap mindset. And that's with the rise of Shein and Temu and all these different
yeah.
things. So I have been curious and you look at the data and I think in general, I think it's leaned more in that direction, but I wonder now we're so out of COVID now, everyone's moving back towards experiences a little bit.
And just the cost, like, I feel like just in the last couple years, right? It feels like inflation has taken such a toll just in 2 or 3 years, cost of living, all those things that it's almost like you're being forced out of the consumerism mindset because you're like, "Dang, I can't afford half this stuff. Everything's going up so much in price," and people are a lot more conscious about their spending. I mean, and maybe I say people who have, responsibilities of kids or mortgages and other, heavy expenses like that where, you have to maybe be a little bit more thoughtful about discretionary spending.
What do you see among the brands that you work with that are in that discretionary bucket, right? They're products that people don't necessarily need. Like are they doing anything differently today than they would have been doing a couple of years ago?
That's a really, really good question. Um, I would say maybe just in general. I mean, this is actually kind of going down the social media train that we're kind of on a little bit here, but I would say kind of in general, brands today that are maybe selling more of a want item than a need item, they are much more reliant on social media. I think Amazon and this might just be the nature of, Amazon getting more competitive and saturated over time where you do kind of have to work a little bit harder to market your products. But 5 years ago on Amazon, you could sell, a Me Too product, stuff that, people didn't necessarily need, they wanted, kinda, I don't wanna say gimmicky stuff or novelty stuff, but, like, cheap, just, like, impulse buy, "Oh, that's a cool gadget or thing, I'm gonna buy that." It's just not really that's just not the case anymore on Amazon, and again, there's so many factors that I'm not I'm just being theoretical here on, like, all these different factors impacting those types of product sales, but we do see that if you are gonna sell that type of discretionary spending product, you are much more reliant on the videos that you just described, like influencers, a haul video, "Hey, I need this," eye candy, viral type of content. Me and my wife, it's funny because 'cause we'll see these videos in fact, we just fell victim to one of these videos literally 2 days ago where, my son is 5, he's not gonna listen to this, so I can say it, but there's these balls
Mhm.
and, they glow. There's some sort of battery element into them where they light up, but you can squish them. Like, you can step it's like the size of maybe a small soccer ball or basketball, and you can stomp on them, and they, like, go flat, and then after a while, they, like, go pop, and they, like, pop back together into a ball, and they'll kinda, like, bounce up into the air, and they light up and flash, and the video on Instagram was super cool. Like, you could see, like, kids playing with them, and it looked really fun, and they were only, like, $9 a ball, and it was one of those things where, do we need that? No. Have my kids ever asked for that? No. But was the video super cool? Yes. And was it a pretty cheap product? Yes. And so we're like, "Hey, Christmas gift, stocking stuffer, more stuff." Like, my wife and I are like, "Yeah, let's get some." Like, let's get one. I have two little boys, and so we're like, "Yeah, let's get one for them." So, another example where social media still drives a lot of those, sales especially for those types of products.
Do you think they have to work a lot harder today to sell that same product than they would have a couple years ago in terms of obviously the ad spend, but the content, the branding, like understanding the consumer a lot better? Like how much more work do you think they're putting in nowadays?
Definitely. I mean, everything everything just gets more competitive with time, like everything. Like,
Mhm.
it's not just Amazon, it's not just, uh, selling retail brick and mortar, like, literally everything. I just there's so many examples out there just in life, period. Even getting a job, right? Like, even if you have a college degree, it is a lot harder now to get a job than it probably was 10 years ago, 20 years ago. Anything. I love like the sports analogies as well. Um, like trying to get to the NBA or, the NFL now is a lot harder than it was 20 years ago. Like people get faster, bigger, stronger. Like I'd like to think, if you're I'm 5'11", like if you're a 5'11" white guy like me, trying to get to the NBA now, probably impossible. Like there's probably one guy in the NBA
Mhm.
who is my height, build type, right? Like you got to be 6'9". Like I look at these guys in the NBA, like back in the day, if you were 6'9", 6'10", you played, down low in the post. You shot hook shots and dunked. You didn't shoot threes. Now, like if you want to get to the NBA, not only do you got to be 6'9", but you got to be able to shoot threes. Like you got to shoot threes and dunk and play down low. Like so, just everything in life. Like everything gets more competitive, just the longer it exists. So yeah, like the longer e-commerce exists, anything exists, you just have to understand that if you want to make it big and you can make it big, I mean, the opportunities are better than ever. You have to work harder than ever.
Do you think there's white space right now on any of these platforms where brands are significantly under investing in one of them? I kind of assumed TikTok Shop might be one of them, especially if you went back like a year ago. But, even still today, I see a lot of brands that don't invest time or even spend time on TikTok Shop at all. Like, do you think that's an underinvested in platform right now?
We actually have seen a pretty amazing resurgence of TikTok Shop just in like the last 6 months. TikTok Shop, when it was first announced and released, I mean, it was like, it kind of had that curve where it was like, okay, it first came out, it was kind of slow. People are kind of skeptical, like, is this real? Are they going to steal my money? It's China. And then once, word kind of got out, like, oh, this is real. Like, if you buy something, you'll actually get it. Then it like spiked like crazy, like huge, massive growth. And then President Trump came and just like put the hammer down and everything froze. Then there was that huge period of like uncertainty, like is TikTok going to be banned permanently? And so then a lot of people pulled money away from TikTok Shop. I mean, it was still there, but it definitely like came crashing back down to earth. But as time kind of passed and you kind of kept seeing those extensions of like, oh, TikTok's not going to get banned for 90 days. And then it kind of just got pushed to the back burner. And like nobody's like, the president, like no one even talked about it anymore. And everyone's kind of like, well, I guess TikTok is here to stay. And then everyone kind of just forgot about it. It wasn't mainstream news anymore. So then people are like, okay, let's start putting some money back into TikTok Shop. And then we're seeing brands like starting to gain momentum with TikTok Shop. But I think one of the biggest benefits, like this is just from our own experience, from a lot of clients that we've worked with and even other products that we've analyzed TikTok Shop. I've told a lot of people this, but what we see a lot on TikTok Shop specifically, because the main lever of marketing on TikTok Shop is affiliates,
Mhm.
right? People can register as an affiliate on TikTok, get a sample of your product, promote it, and that's kind of like the flywheel of selling on TikTok. We see usually on average like a 1-to-1, I just call it a 1-to-1 return for samples to sales on TikTok. So if you ship out 100 samples of your product to, let's say, 100 different influencers, we see that that generates 100 units sold on average, which is not great. You might be thinking, well, then, like, why are we even doing this? Like, if I'm only getting a like 1-to-1 return on my samples being sent. But where we're seeing the massive benefit is kind of more of just like on the brand awareness level. Like, we'll see brands who do this, who invest in TikTok Shop, see a 60 to 70% increase in branded searches on Amazon within like 4 to 6 weeks.
Hmm.
So sales can spike tremendously. And those branded searches, external traffic, that dramatically improves organic ranking on Amazon for a lot of those generic search terms as well. So not only do you just see a 60 to 70% increase in branded search term traffic and those converting most likely into sales, but sales for those other search terms go up quite a bit. And so you might double, triple, quadruple monthly sales on Amazon from your TikTok Shop efforts. So it's kind of just like, I guess, a testament that like brand awareness marketing is still alive and well. It still works. Like if you can get people to know what your brand is, know what your products are at the top of the funnel with content, it'll find its way to, you know, the marketplaces, the retailers, your website, wherever you sell these products.
Andy, we're out of time, man, but thank you so much for doing this. We're definitely gonna have you on again because there's so much more I want to talk about with regards to TikTok Shop and everything else. But uh, tell people like where can they find you, how they should reach out to you, if what issues are they having where they should kind of give you a call.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. I mean, the best way is you can just reach me on my website. It's just andyisom.com. I have my agency as well where again, like we help manage brands on Amazon, Walmart, TikTok Shop. So yeah, if you're trying to sell your own branded products on one of these marketplaces, we absolutely can help you out, or at least just at the very least chat about maybe what challenges you're facing and see how we can help.
Awesome. Thanks so much, man.
Okay, thank you.